How to use a line of credit to build wealth. So I am the master guide for your personal finance, and we're going to break that down into a lot of detail. So get a pen and paper because we have a lot to talk about. And some of you are going to be shocked of how much money you've had around you and not accessing it. So the three things I want to talk about is actually how do you leverage the line of credit? Number two, what are my strategies for leveraging and arbitraging some debt? And then number three, what are the mistakes to avoid? Because a lot of you just can't figure out this debt credit thing because you're still back in the 60s and doing it all wrong. So first of all, let's break down the three different kinds of lines of credit. In fact, I'm going to read it as a definition to you. So first is the access and use. So a line of credit offers just pre-approved flexible credit amounts that you can use for significant expenses or emergencies. So that's just how you're going to get them. They come in the form of credit cards, or they can come in a line of credit against the bank, typically a balance that you're going to be kept inside the bank. Sometimes they'll collateralize with a CD, but that provides like a revolving line of credit that you can have access to. And you keep your interest rates low when you pay them off more frequently, if not every month. Second, the interest rates and the repayment process. So again, a line of credit is going to come with lower interest rates that you can repay in flexible installments. That's part of the strategy. And again, the more monthly you pay it all off, the better it is, and the better the financial services world looks at you. You're using a lot of money, you're spending a lot of money, you're earning a lot of money. So the more you rotate through the system and using your cards, not cash, the better you're going to look. The credit cards are actually going to have a higher interest rate, which is typical. And when you don't pay off your credit cards, you know they're going to ratchet up to 18, 19, 21, 27%. And right now money's expensive. So some of those interest rates are going to go up high. And then the third line of credit is actually what's the limit and the purpose. So typically your line of credit is going to offer higher credit limits for larger financial needs, business investments, home renovations, things like that. If this is just for daily lifestyle, you're not going to get a line of credit. I don't know any financial institute just for daily life spending, and you shouldn't be spending it that way anyway. You should be living corporate life as we teach you, and they should be business deductions that actually spent through your business accounts. And then the credit cards, again, predetermined. If they're business cards and you have really large limits, like we have companies that have been around for 5, 10, 20 years. They have open $1 million lines with a lot of these credit card companies, and you have a 0% as long as you pay them off every month. So it's not uncommon when you become a millionaire to have a $100,000 credit card bill a month because it's a business expense line, because you're also getting all the points and the miles and all the benefits. So again, if you have not heard any of my credit card uses or how to increase your credit, any of those videos, go to the search bar at the top of my YouTube channel and just put in credit card use, credit card as investment cards, and I'm going to teach you so much about how to properly use credit cards. Put your debit card away. That takes money straight out of your account. Not good for you at all. Now, what's going to get you a good credit line? I'm going to speak more to you business owners, those of you that really are ready to have a business and get, like I'm talking six figures, 100, 200, $250 million lines of credit. What's it going to take? A very strategic business plan. Get a pen and paper, write these down. It's going to take a very strong executive summary. We have a lot of examples of this when you come to the big table, different business plans you can look at. You're going to need actual business description. What's your mission, vision? What are you doing? What is the purpose of this business? Market analysis. How's it actually going to work? Have you actually tested the market? We have some folks right now doing market analysis here in storage units, conic storage, RV parks. A lot of different strategies are actually, really coming to fruition in the real estate side, especially creative uses of land. You're going to need an organization and management chart. And I can tell a lot of you beginners, your management team, my greatest mentor said, money will follow the management team. So if you're not experienced, you better put some experience on your team, which is why you want to get a mentor and a guide. I've used my mentors and guides most of the time in my business plans to amplify and just have a bigger resume. What products and services are you selling? Are you writing? You got a lot of big lists here. You might have to go back and repeat this one. Sales and marketing strategy. How are you going to get the distribution? What kind of funds are you going to need? And you're going to need what's called a use of funds. How are you going to spend the money if and when you get it? What are the financial projections, the revenue projections? And then any sort of operational plan. You can also, if you have it and you know and you're clear about it, do a SWOT analysis, which is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And if you have a clear exit plan, which a lot of times in your beginning, you can just kind of allude to who could be your buyer or what could be your exit. Like in our cannabis oasis project, we could be bought by a pharma, we could be bought by tobacco, we could be rolled up with a huge conglomerate and sold off. lots of different options in your exit. So at least allude to the fact you've been thinking about it, but you may not know that in detail. That won't be as critical as making sure that you have a team, you have an operational plan, and you have some revenue projections and distribution depending on the product and service. So what else do you have to think about in just the lines of credit? Again, I'm going to teach you my strategies, which is living corporate life, right? It's what I've been teaching for decades, is how do you use a company and trust and structures to actually activate the greatest tax code in the world, 81,000 pages of tax code that you can then use as deductions. So a lot of this can actually be under your business lines of credit. And remember, if you have right, which you have a social security number and you have 1, 2, 3 companies, they actually have EIN, tax ID numbers. That means you have 4 lines of credit, 4 opportunities to actually build credit. So you can get individual credit and corporate credit. You're going to get a lot farther with corporate credit and corporate lines of credit than you're going to get at all just doing it as an individual. So again, if you're a sole proprietor, you want to call our office, click on the link below, get a strategy session with one of our team on how to live corporate life. And while you're there, I'm also going to give you 2 tickets to my Millionaire Intensive. It's a free event we do every 3 weeks. It's an introductory event. So those of you that are a little higher level, you want to come to the first few hours and then get a strategy session to talk about the more advanced things we can do to really help you. And I want to see you there the whole time. If you want to make some money, you can stay to the end, and we do a 3-hour marketplace at the end, and people do make money. So before I share the common mistakes and lines of credit and what you could do to use it to build wealth, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to click that notification button. I want you here 5 days a week. I'm here 5 days a week. We're going on over 2 years of video and content just for you and your family. So anybody over 5, you need to have them listening. We have a YouTube journal, so grab one of those. Click on the link below. We have a very cool YouTube journal. It's what are you learning and what are you going to do about it? So by the end of a year, even 3 months, you should have quite an action plan of what you and your family could be doing to change your entire conversation about money. Now back to lines of credit. What are the biggest mistakes? Frivolous spending, like always. So many of you, and I want you to write this down, you build a lifestyle and then think about assets. And getting that turned around is completely what millionaires do. We make money, we invest it. Most of you have a pattern of making and spending, and you do frivolous spending the minute you make money. That's why for any of you that are out there that have kids and sports athletes that are getting NIL money, which is name, image, and likeness money, big riff. It's going to be interesting this spring, coming into 2024, to see how many of those kids have tax bills they can't pay because they're spending every penny like it's water, and you parents are not engaged enough because you say, well, they're an adult, they're 18 years old. No, I'm sorry, I have a 24-year-old son who's becoming a CPA, and he and I have a very regular conversation about money, credit, all of this. So you've got to stay more engaged, parents, especially if you have an NIL athlete that's making 10, 20,000, and you know who I'm speaking to, because I'm speaking specifically to some names, but I won't name the university you're working with, and how much they're paying you, and you're blowing it all on cars, women, jewelry, stuff. And you don't need any of that stuff. You need to start putting it away into assets. And if you don't live through corporate life, you're going to be taxed 50% on all that money. So it's a really big deal on your pattern of money, on how to get it right. Again, frivolous spending, building a lifestyle before you build assets, just being financially responsible. Like, what is your end game? It's very easy to spend money when you're making money when you're young, but what is that end game? Are you really going to continue to work until your 70s, 80s, and 90s and actually continue this income stream? I doubt it. So play the debt card. Arbitraging debt and using lines of credit to grow wealth is one of the most strategic advances that most of us use. So start today. So if you have any questions as you're thinking about this and you just really want some mentoring and guiding, go to askloral.com. You can ask any question. We're there 24/7. We'll deliver you answers. And if you want a deeper answer, then call our office right away or grab that strategy session. I'll see you at my Millionaire Intensive.